Welcome back to your favorite Novi podcast, Now You Novi. Can I say it's the favorite Novi podcast? Because I know you have one.
I mean, you can say it. I mean, can we say it too?
You probably could.
Absolutely.
Well, welcome, Superintendent Mainka. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for having me on the show.
Thanks for coming back.
Absolutely.
You know, we're here today to talk about all things Novi schools. And last week, I had the opportunity to attend the State of the Schools.
Yeah.
Is this the third one?
This was our fourth annual.
Fourth one.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry. Fourth one.
Yeah.
Let's maybe even give some background about what it is, and before we get into the exciting news, what's going on with Novi schools this year.
Thank you. Thank you for coming and supporting the event. We look forward to the State of the City event every year. And so we decided a couple years ago to move this off of that timing so that we had a little separation. But
that's right.
It's a great opportunity, I think, for us to come together as a community and celebrate some of the things that our school district is doing. I think a lot of times people think that they're going to come and just hear a big speech. But in reality, we tried to make this a community event. It's an opportunity for people to come together. We have all of our community groups and vendors. Obviously, you guys have a table, but we also have Rotary and, our local Novi Youth Assistants. But we also have all of our other clubs. So robotics and our athletic programs, our music and theater programs, they all kind of have tables so that they can promote their programs, and people in our community, parents, can kind of see not only what their kids have access to, but one of the highlights is we also feed everybody. So we give everybody dinner, and so we kind of look at it as you get to come, we're going to feed you dinner, you're going to be able to hang out with your family. We do have childcare. And then we're going to take 15, 20 minutes and talk a little bit about what the district's doing, but really we're not going to ask you for anything. We're not going to, it's just kind of a night to gather. And I think it's been very, very well received. So we're excited. Great attendance last week. We had about 1,000 people show up. So
great.
It was great. So it's become kind of a nice event for us to just kind of showcase some of the work that our kids and our staff are doing.
I love it because the schools are a community within a community, right? And a lot of times people assimilate to the school district they're in.
Yep.
I hate to even say this, but more so even than the city. And we felt that for a long time with the disconnect decades ago with Walled Lake, right?
Sure.
Because the families north of 13 for sure, go to Walled Lake schools. So they would assimilate with their children's school or the district, and that's where the families seem to congregate and gather or play sports, recreate, whatever through the school district. So this State of the Schools is a great opportunity, and I think you guys really nail it with celebrating that sense of community you bring within Novi. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally. And I appreciate that. I think it is challenging because the typical person would assume if I'm in Novi, then I'm going to be in Novi schools.
Right.
And we understand the Novi Community School District is smaller than the City of Novi, right? So the City of Novi has got some Northville schools, some Walled Lake schools, some South Lyon schools, Novi schools, but the City of Novi is the only municipality where the entirety of the Novi Community School District resides. So I would say that the majority of the City of Novi is in our school district, but it's not always the case. And so, we run into that from time to time where people are like, but I'm in Novi and I pay Novi taxes. And that's true to a point. But if you're not in the Novi School District, you're not paying Novi School District taxes. You're doing those other things. So it can be confusing, but I think you're right. It's good to have an opportunity for our community as a school system to come together and highlight the work that our kids are doing,
So last November, Novi voters in the Novi school district.
Novi School District, yep.
Overwhelmingly passed a bond renewal for y'all. I'm going to get the numbers wrong, but it was quite sizable,
425.
425.
Yeah.
For facility renovations, improvements, additions. Let's talk about that, because I'm sure your State of the Schools talked a little bit about that. So I don't want to shy away from the state schools, but I'm sure this was a big part of it.
It
too.
was, sure. Yeah, I think people, first, we're so appreciative to our community for the support that they've been able to provide to us as a school system. In the state of Michigan, local communities can raise funds through capital projects bonds to take care of their facilities, to upgrade facilities, and so on and so forth. We've done a really nice job, I think, as a school district for the past 10 to 15 years of really maximizing those community dollars to do different things, like our Meadows facility, which I know we've talked about.
Yeah, beautiful.
We've been able to upgrade some of our high school facilities. Our middle school is relatively new, and all of our elementary schools are updated. But one of the areas that we haven't really dove into was the high school, and that building, was built over 50 years ago. It's a building that has largely, at the time was great, but it's not going to be able to keep pace with some of the more modern facilities that our kids and families are going to when they go to Troy and some of the other places, Bloomfield. And so we wanted to step back and say, how do we holistically address the high school? And how do we do it in a way, because we don't have the resource to be able to have another building for kids to go to. So how do we do that while our students are going to school? And so it's a sizable project. We have an activity center, which we're real excited to work with the city on. That's going to be an opportunity for a pool with a therapy pool and other types of things that residents in Novi community will be able to utilize. It's also an opportunity for us to have an indoor turf field, track and field, all of those types of things. For inclement weather, our kids can still participate. It's right off of a new performing arts wing that we're going to be renovating.
That's
so
amazing.
We're going to have new band and orchestra space. Our performing arts center will be renovated. And one of the highlights that we're excited to get kicked off soon is our innovation hub, which is going to be an addition. It's a 50,000 square foot addition kind of off of the north side of the high school that will allow for us to be able to add more technical classrooms, like a medical innovation hub, a medical tech lab, culinary lab, lots of different opportunities for future. We're really focused on career, and so how can we connect kids with classrooms that have the technology and infrastructure to prepare them to go into those fields in the future. And it will also serve practically as a swing space in the early stages where we can actually move students into it so that we can renovate kind of the heart of the building, which is the most difficult to do while students are in session. So the high school is a big portion of the bond. We also are going to be building a STEM addition at the middle school to be able to continue the work that we started at Meadows to go all the way up to the high school. And then all of our playgrounds and outdoor athletic fields and things like that are going to be addressed over the next few years. Along with multitude of other, what I would call, just kind of deferred maintenance items, things like HVAC systems. We have hundreds and hundreds of thousands of square feet of facilities, and boilers don't last forever.
No.
Rooftop units don't last forever.
Right.
So we're going to be doing a lot of that as well. But it's going to be necessary, and it's also very, very costly. So we're grateful that we were able to come up with a plan that could work within our means to not increase and not ask the community to support any type of an increase, and keep the millage rate what it was for our schools.
Super exciting.
Yeah, we're
Super
excited.
exciting.
Yeah.
In all of that, which is amazing, in state-of-the-art facilities. People think of Novi schools the best of the best, number one, number two in the state, on any given year, right?
Mm-hmm.
For the past, as long as I can remember. But none of that would happen without programs, teachers, etc., that deliver the quality education, right?
Correct.
And let's talk a little bit about that, because I know the investment that y'all place in your students and to set them on that right path, and giving your teachers the tools is a large part of what makes y'all so great too.
Yeah, I think we have done a lot to try and work within our internal means to figure out how do we make sure we're attracting and retaining the best talent in terms of who we're putting in front of children every day. It's a really high bar for us. I mean, that's not something we can just screw up and say, well, this person seems like they'll be okay. We really want to make sure that we're hiring the best people to put in front of kids. Bond dollars cannot go to pay for those operational costs. So, unfortunately, over the last 2 cycles, the state of Michigan has, I think, quite frankly, struggled. We got a budget that was significantly late this past year. It's very rare that you would build your household budget on dollars that you don't know that you're going to have, and then those dollars are never there. And that's kind of what happened to us the last couple years. We're hoping that the legislature can get things together and work collaboratively with the governor to get a budget out in time this year. That's one of the things that we've been advocating for, because quite frankly, operations of schools are paid for out of all of our taxes that we pay to the state, and it comes directly from them. So when they appropriate, $500 million less dollars than what we anticipated, it makes it really challenging. And when you look at education funding, it's a hotly debated topic, right? Some people are like, well, it should be less. They get plenty of money. And then other people are like, it's not enough. But what we know is that, number one, it has not kept pace with inflation. And number two, we are underfunded compared to most of our peer states across the country. So those things have an impact even in the best school districts in terms of our ability to continue to think outside the box and provide those innovative programs. So while we're going to keep innovating because our community supports these capital project bonds, our operation, that's going to be something that we have to help our state legislature, kind of come through on.
Key takeaways from the state of the schools. Give me 3.
Yeah, so
give me 3, top of mind.
I would say one of the things that we don't do a lot is celebrate our success. Over the past 4 years, we've been able to move from not only just the top school district in Michigan, but we've moved up over 40 spots to be the 13th ranked district in the country. That's a tremendous achievement, testament to the work that our staff is doing. I would also say that we've seen some tremendously huge gains in our students' abilities in literacy. We've made some intentional investments, and all of this is due to the work of our staff, our teachers, that have really kind of said, look, okay, we're going to be unified in helping kids get these foundational pieces, and that is absolutely bearing out. And then I think the third thing, which we've talked about, is just the excitement around some of the capital investments that our community has said, we're ready to see Novi really become, particularly at the high school, that will be a facility that people are already talking about coming to see when it's completed. So on top of all of the community benefit and the opportunity for people in this community to be able to see how those dollars are being able to be utilized by everyone, and so that's an exciting thing for all of us.
If someone listening missed the state of the schools, is there a slide deck or something on the school's website where they could just have a quick glance at some of the key points?
Yes, absolutely. So we actually have a video of the event, but we also are putting the slideshow up. NoviK12.org will be out there for everybody to take a look at. But as always, if you ever have questions, we always welcome that and would love to speak with any community members that would be interested in hearing more about the district.
What is Superintendent Mainka really looking forward to for the rest of 2026?
Well, I think what I'm most passionate about right now is some of the work we're doing around culture. That's something that probably doesn't get the typical community member super excited because it's more internal facing. But I think when we think about how we retain staff and keep great staff, part of it is, what type of culture do we want to create for them to come to work and be a part of? And also, what type of culture are we helping to build with our families that make it a place that people want to work, that people want to send their kids to school? And so, yes, we do a great job with achievement, and we have great athletic programs and music and theater programs. But, at the end of the day, it's what is the experience like for the child, the family, and the staff member? And so that whole culture piece is something that we're investing a lot of time trying to understand. How do we work together? How do we collaborate? How do we treat people with respect and listen? And these are things, unfortunately, that are increasingly fleeting in our society today. So we're really dealing with the behaviors of adults. And I've said many, many times, most of the issues that we face as a school system are not child issues, they're adult issues. And so how do we help our adults, the families that send their kids to us, work collaboratively with us, and then also how do we help our adults internally work together in a proactive way. And that's work that we as leaders need to be focused on in supporting our people properly. And it's also, each individual has a responsibility to bear to that. So that's something that's been really exciting. And while I know it's not going to make a newsflash headline anywhere, it's something that's vitally important to creating that culture that I think everybody deserves to be a part of.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. I was thinking, you say the school, Novi High School, I'm thinking about this campus because I've been with the city for 24 plus years now. Yeah. And we have always talked about the great relationship and partnership with the schools. And being here on this campus, it's most identifiable at the high school for me, right?
Absolutely.
But I know it transcends that and is so much more. But to see the partnership and the way the schools and the city really, really work together these last several years, and I will say that's in large part due to your leadership and understanding of the importance of that relationship to the community, has made all the difference. And when I think back 50 years, this building that we're in is 50 years old, the high school. Imagine what that meant.
Sure.
To have this campus created and to see what it's going to be with the new activity center you mentioned, et cetera, how it continues to evolve and really be the heart, the center of this community is just amazing. I can't wait to see how it all comes together in the next couple of years.
Yeah, I mean, even hearing you describe it like that, it gives you goosebumps. And I think I appreciate your kind words, but it is a joint effort. I mean, I see the mayor, the city manager, I see city council, our school board. There is a unified, I would say, vision of partnership. And that I do believe is what our community expects of us, because together, right, we can help each other. We can leverage resources. And while we're two separate entities that have different charters and different things to do, there's a lot that we can do together. And I think that this campus is going to be another example of that. And it will be to the benefit of our residents for sure.
Love it. Love it. Thanks for taking the time. And thanks for also putting yourself out there for the community, the Novi Schools community and city, because your State of the Schools, I mean, anybody could have come.
Sure.
If there's an older adult or someone that's children did go through the schools, I mean, they are more than welcome. Follow you on social or us. We've shared the information too, but that event is open to the community to hear how our schools are doing and the direction they're taking. And and it's all good, folks. It's all good.
We are very excited. We have a lot of good momentum. And as you said, we always welcome any community member to come hear about what we're doing and be part of it. We'd love to partner with them in any way. So thanks again for having us on the show.
Thank you. Until next time, there you have it. And now you Novi. Take care.